Like, I love guys holding themselves to that standard. Also, make sure you congratulate yourselves when you guys get wins and finishes.
Here's a tale of the tape. 36-year-old Zach Henson versus 26-year-old Eduardo Anaya. Both guys made weight at 145 weight limit. 6 foot for Eduardo Anaya, 5'7" for Henson, with a 70-inch reach, a 1-inch reach advantage over Zach Henson. Brought to you by Howlerhead Whiskey. Let's go in here and get this thing going with Wayne Leggett.
The following contest, brought to you by Howlerhead Whiskey, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC Featherweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 6 feet tall, and he weighed in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, today he looks for his 4th win as a pro. Here is Eduardo Anaya. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 145.8 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, his professional record stands at 3 wins, no losses, 1 draw. Here is Zach Consazon Henson. Your referee in charge, Jeff Rexroad.
Jeff Rexroad with the assignment today. Zach Henson and Eduardo Anaya.
Glove touch to start things out. Mutual respect. Always love it.
So yeah, Henson's got a very much so double leg, stay on top, take your back style, whereas Eduardo Anaya, good Darce chokes from the front headlock, really good active closed guard submission style game. Both guys proficient on the feet though. Oh, nice body kick there from Henson. If I had to take a guess on who'd look to wrestle first, I'd say Henson just stylistically. He's a bit of a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And also the taller stance of Anaya would probably, lend to that.
Anaya's taking that ring control and backing Zach up. Really patient with his hands and feet. Doing that knee pump to kind of get the reaction. And there's that first takedown attempt from Henson.
Yeah, Henson's one of those guys, once he's on you, it's hard to get him off. See, Anaya maybe thinking about a Kimura, but I think he was more so just trying to deny that crossface.
Henson's just kind of getting that pressure started. That's again one of those things where as the fight goes, the more pressure that he gets, the more tired his opponent gets. He's going to be just shining through that.
Maybe a head and arm choke attempt here for Zach Henson. I mean, that's figure 4. This is like that Rotullo kind of like Darce choke from the back. I mean, this will choke anyone to sleep.
Yep. Oh, it looks like he added a little knee to the butt.
So you got to lock the choking arm behind the head. You can tap someone. You can put someone to sleep from here.
Yeah, it looks like he may be getting close to doing that. Lost the choke.
But ended up getting the back, exactly. Speaking of which, one of the Rotullo brothers just made their MMA debut. Got a rear naked choke in his fight. I remember I got to see them with you, Mike, at ADCC a couple years back, and man, they kind of stole the show.
Yeah,
been a fan of those young brother martial artists for very thoroughly since then.
I believe one of them's fighting Mikey Musumeci for the belt as well. I believe that's here going to be in Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of exciting things going on in the grappling world. A lot of exciting things going on in the MMA world.
It's a great time for martial arts. It really is.
Looks like Henson's trying to get that rear naked choke locked in, but Edwards keeping his chin tucked pretty well.
So yeah, even if the chin is tucked, if you can figure 4 your arms and then hide the top hand behind the head, you can kind of take your time to let the choking arm fall into position.
Well, not just that, there's no comfort in that position until it gets under the chin either.
Yeah, we saw Habib tap Conor with that, modified palm to palm over the chin. But even yesterday, a little ankle lock, foot lock attempt here from Eduardo Anaya to Zach Henson. We actually saw this finish a fight in Fury about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Only time I've ever seen it in MMA. I've pulled it off in jiu-jitsu. Fun fact, my first tournament as a white belt that I had won a match. I was getting creamed by some wrestler, but leg locked him when he took my back.
I'm actually surprised Henson's crossing his feet. I got to tell you, when we fought each other, I crossed my feet on his back. He went for that ankle lock. I could not walk correctly for a week. My calf was so sore after.
Yeah, he still has so much time to work to Zach Henson.
Again, this is one of those situations where Zach is not really using a lot of energy and just zapping his opponent.
Yeah, Eduardo and I staying patient, staying calm, but definitely being ridden out right now. This is his best rally at a get up.
Nice get up from Eduardo.
Oh, maybe can he lock it? Nah, he's got to get Zach's head under that right choking arm. I mean, yeah, there's no choke attempt. His head was too high.
You can see he's thinking about it, trying to kind of tuck things through.
And he's pushed the elbow down and get his head across his body the other way, and that's going to lock up the choke. It's going to be very difficult because Zach is surely going to see that coming.
I'd like to see him go ahead and switch up to an underhook and kind of lift Zach back up. And we don't want Zach getting too hard in on those hips, just like that. You got a guillotine attempt.
This is a better attempt. This is a high elbow. And this is this is the ninja choke, but Zach's going cross body.
You know, Zach is a black belt, so he's very savvy to all of these situations. He's going to be able to react well.
Yeah, and he pretty consistently shoots double legs in all of his fights. So you know he's doing a lot in the training room, so I'm sure he's very used to anti-guillotine routing. One time, one of my students started wrestling, and I was like, "Hey, in jiu-jitsu class, what wrestling moves are you hitting the most?" And they were like, "I don't really shoot because everyone keeps going for guillotines. You know, how do I stop?" And I was like, "You don't stop the attempt. You just stop the positioning. Trap the legs, go cross body. It's actually pretty easy to do. It's not very comfortable, but it's pretty, like, at least it's, like, very historically routed."
I'll tell you this, I go for a double leg on Alex every single time we grapple, and I get out of the guillotine because I'm not going to not double leg.
Only some of the times.
Here we go for first round highlights. From what we see, I mean, mostly Zach Henson here after this takedown. Never gave up top position until that ninja choke attempt. What do you guys think?
I think it's a pretty clear Henson round. 10-9, not a lot of damage done, but striking was pretty even. He got the ground control. And, you know, the way they score it is the first basis of scoring is effective striking and grappling. But it could also be awarded as effective grappling and striking. Mm-hmm. And the striking was relatively neutralized. And the grappling, albeit not very damage heavy, was in the controlling aspect of Zach Henson.
See Eduardo open up with a little jump kick. And again, taken right to that ring control. Zach's like loading those kicks up. I'd like to see him set it up a little bit.
It's a nice little, like, you know, question mark kick there from Anaya.
Alex, I remember when I was fighting, if I, you know, in sparring, you're wearing shin guards, if my coach would, if I threw a kick without setting it up with a punch, he would stop it, make me do push-ups until he said stop, and then get back up and continue with the round.
Yeah. It's a great way to beat a bad habit.
Yeah, never threw a kick without a jab in front of it, ever.
Nice.
I didn't care if they were a mile away. It was
yep.
You can see Eduardo's now kind of picked up on those no setup kicks, and he's kind of looking for those counter shots right on the outside.
Yeah, both guys. Oh, nice high kick there. It was good. Eduardo's left hand was up. Both guys have picked up their volume on the striking.
You know, I do know that, again, Zach really holds himself to a high standard, so maybe the grappling and not being able to get the finish in the first kind of frustrated him a little bit, and he said, I'll set it up with a little bit more striking this time. Looks like he really wants to land a little bit more before he wrestles.
Yeah,
as I say that, he drops and change levels right into a double leg.
Yeah, I mean, they both landed their best shots so far in this second round.
Eduardo's still in the seated position, so he has that opportunity to kind of push himself through, dig those underhooks, and try to hit his get up. I'd like to see Zach scoop his butt off that cage.
Yeah, if you can flatten him, it makes getting up so much harder.
And right there, we get our get up.
And Alex, I tell new people this all the time. You know, I don't teach much anymore, but one of the things I do teach is that, you know, if people ask me questions about how do you defend, and if it's a choke, I tell everybody, you defend chokes with position. So you don't necessarily have to have a defense. You have to be, you know, get in a better position, become unchokeable, and then your defense goes from there. You know, if somebody tries a Kimura on you, somebody tries you know, something like that, there's a defense for that and there's a counter for that. But for a choke, you know, it's defend, and if you're, you know, out of position, or if you're in position where you can't be choked, then you can use your hands. It's a lot easier to get up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you see guys that try to focus on only hand fighting, and then, you know, it's just a battle of attrition. Who's going to give up on the hand fighting first?
Well, not just that. In jiu-jitsu, we'll do it all day. But remember, I mean, as you guys know, in between those hand fighting, you're eating a few punches.
Yeah, or short elbows.
Yeah.
Henson's hands are a little low. I'd like him to pick him up a little bit. There we go.
That's a good right hand. Nice little check there from Eduardo Anaya, though.
You know, Eduardo's had that ring control. He's really pressuring and keeping Zach on that back foot.
Oh, nice. And I'll tell you, Eduardo got up pretty quick from that takedown attempt from Henson earlier. This is one of those rounds where if Anaya can keep his active striking and his pressure going, he can win this round.
Looks like Zach may have wanted to complain about a low blow, but I think he shook it off.
Yeah, I think he noticed the ref wasn't going to stop it.
Yeah. And you see Eduardo's getting more and more comfortable starting to throw those short hooks.
Yeah, he's throwing that hook to the body a bit. Notice when Henson goes southpaw, he's digging that lead hook to the body. There it was again.
Oh, that was a good right hand from Henson. Excuse me, left.
Now, as we see the mouthpiece showing for Henson, the mouth wide open.
You know, I know actually Henson has always fought with those double breather mouth guards his entire career. He's always had that same mouthpiece. Maybe not the same mouthpiece, but the same style. Doesn't really let you kind of close your mouth.
Anaya in with a big takedown of his own.
You know, that's kind of one of those things where he didn't really pick him up as much as he used his height to just stand up straight and get Henson's feet off the ground.
That was a good finish. That was a close round. I think Eduardo Anaya takes this second round.
Yeah. You know, I think a little bit of the first round grappling kind of zapped Zach a little bit more than it may have zapped Eduardo.
Yeah. It's very unofficially 1-1 going into 3.
Yeah, we noticed, here's the highlights from round 2. We noticed between rounds 1 and 2, Anaya standing, Zach Henson on there, you know, Anaya looking like the fresher fighter even here going into the third round, but both guys landing well.
Beautiful
big right hand from Zach Henson.
That landed off the chin. Props to Eduardo for eating it, so.
Literally just, again, got tall and was able to get his feet off the ground and scoop him over. It's one of those things where he wasn't using the power of a body lock slam. He was using the position of his underhooks and the length of his legs.
It's a good little cut right on the bridge of the nose of Eduardo Anaya. We see that on the cam right here. I'll tell you, last week was some of the most outrageous Fury fights I've ever seen. So many brutal knockouts and cuts. Props to the Fury cutmen. They had such a busy night last weekend, and they all did excellent jobs. Jake, you're one of the guys. Jake's eyelid got split open, and that cut man stopped it. I mean, masterfully. It was great.
Yeah. And if you guys can't tell, I already have my stitches out. The cut is already sealed up, and I'm still looking just as pretty.
The Fury crew was really on their A game last week.
Yeah, I was sorry I missed it. I was covering the basket weaving championships, apparently.
He'll let us all know.
Everhill covering the chess world championships, we'll say. Or checkers. He's not smart enough for chess. Now, Raheel Ramzanali will be here for the UFC Fight Pass card coming up at 4:30.
Shot attempt for Zach, and the follow-through was really good on that. It's one of these things about these guys that do have more than a few fights. They find that second wind a lot of the times in the third round. You know, they're able to say, you know, maybe the first round went well, second round I was a little bit tired, but this third round my lungs are all stretched out. I know what I got to do to win.
Kind of like settling the pace.
Yeah. I also feel like maybe Zach thought to himself in between rounds, I think I was a little too patient with my wrestling in the second round. I need to get back to what's going to win me this fight. And just like that, he makes his way to the back.
Notice how high Anaya's hips were. I was going to say, if he can keep his hips high, he can turn in. It's a great reversal there from Eduardo Anaya.
And just look at that fatal, like one little bit of a mistake on position. And
high elbow guillotine. Full mount.
Eduardo's able to take the position.
And Zach's arm is trapped.
Yeah, that's very, very tight, Alex.
This is deep. This is a good guillotine attempt.
This is a very good guillotine attempt.
The angle's off. His hands are disconnected, but it's okay. He uses it to get the mount.
They are in mount. Ooh. Now the short elbows are coming through. Yep.
Little slip elbow right there.
And again, Zach is a savvy grappler, but with a slight amount of fatigue, some decisions can start to get away from us.
He's in a bad spot right here. Anaya's pouring it on him in this third round.
Looks like Anaya's trying to either flatten him out or fit a hand in for the choke. Really, really going like that volley from, I'm going to either flatten you out or I'm going to get my arm in. And he has that body triangle also locked up. And again, we were talking about that earlier. It's very uncomfortable and hard to breathe when you're in those body triangles.
Oh, man, if he can get that hand behind the head and lock it behind the occipital bone right in the back of the skull. I learned that from a student recently. It's that little knot right where your spine meets your skull. Sometimes I'll try to wedge my knuckles behind that so guys can't hand fight.
Switching sides on the choke attempt.
Henson's going to push up on the elbow.
You know, Henson's staying very patient. That's that black belt showing through. He knows what he needs to do to escape. He's putting the small little bits of defensive measures in and then trying to set up a way to spin through.
So there is the foot lock. It's pretty inconsistent, but what Henson can do is step his right leg over Anaya's right foot and then bridge and then push his left knee down, and it just crushes the ankle. But Eduardo's so tall and gangly, I doubt it would afflict him as bad as, you know, somebody similar to Henson's height.
When you see Henson throwing those punches from the back, you know, not doing a ton of damage, but what it is doing is it's a slight annoyance to create that little bit of space you need to spin yourself through. And I'm a fan of this myself. I've done it myself. But it is a small window of opportunity.
I mean, he's got to be really diligent on not getting rear naked choked right here. I mean, obviously, but that choking hand has been in position for quite some time.
Yeah, Anaya relentless on the back here. And you got to think, I mean, this is an Anaya round so far. I mean, Zach Henson, there's got to be some urgency in him getting up. You know, I mean, we had it unofficially at 1 round apiece coming into the third round. And this is, I mean, pretty clearly an Eduardo Anaya round. Zach Henson's got to get to his feet somehow.
You see him starting to get his shoulders through. Man, that body triangle is going to be really difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it is. There's such little time left. I mean, I think Eduardo Anaya really. Oh man, that's under the chin. Oh, that is under the chin.
And he's got short hand, and now he's got it behind the head.
That's very tight.
20 seconds is a long time. Oh man, can Zach push the elbow out of position? All right, it's off. Man, look at that.
Wow.
Sometimes you hear that 10-second clacker, and you know you're not going to tap.
Man,
awesome fight from both fighters. It looks like, you know, Anaya was able to really take control. It looked like a little bit of the first round kind of affected Henson for, you know, his energy level. I think he tried to go back to the wrestling in the third round to try to seal the deal, but sometimes when that fatigue sets in, it's hard to pull back out.
I was going to say, I think this is Eduardo Anaya, you know, being the pressure fighter from the second round on. You know, maybe the better grappler got the best of the grappling in the first round, and then Eduardo Anaya kind of being the fresher fighter, I think he was able to take advantage of that.
Now, I know we three all unofficially scored it for Anaya in round 2, but Henson did get the takedown early. The striking was active on both sides. You know, this could, you know, this one could go either way. We'll see what the judges are feeling tonight.
There's also a pretty good cut on Anaya's nose. It looks like a pressure split. I don't remember when it happened, but it could have been from those short elbows that Zach was throwing.
Yeah, and remember, Alex, we saw in the last fight Garcia get a couple of judges to give him a round in one of those, and we thought it was a pretty clear 30-27, and it was because of those submission attempts. So, you know, this is one of those nights where this could go either way.
Yeah.
Very close fight. Let's go inside to Wayne Leggett and make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for your decision. Brought to you by Live Oak Texas Vodka. All 3 judges scored the fight 29-28, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Eduardo Anaya.
Eduardo Anaya is your winner. Gonna go inside and have a chat with him is Alex Morono.
All right, guys, I'm here with your winner, Eduardo Anaya. Eduardo, you've been in the mix a long time. This fight was at 145 pounds. Is this a new weight class for you?
I believe so. Cutting to 35 was just a little too much for me. And this little guy's the reason right here why I'm still doing it. Otherwise, I would have been done a long time ago. But as for now, this might be it for a bit. I promised my fiance Madison that she could get back in here after this fight. So looking forward to her return to this cage.
Man, tremendous performance. You really gutted out the second and third round there, man. Congratulations. What's your young one's name?
Noah.
Cool, Noah. Well, we know you're wishing your dad a happy Father's Day. Congratulations, your winner, Eduardo Anaya.
Really, really awesome.
Yeah, really cool to see all the fathers holding their kids, coming out with their kids today. Eduardo Anaya is your winner.